Well, I think that's right. I mean, in the final analysis, it's the Ukrainians themselves who have to actually build on that intelligence, find out where these senior Russian officers are located, and then use special forces to attack them and kill them. I mean, the American part of the sort of the entire equation is only really the beginning of it, and this is not that new of information. I mean, the Americans have been very good at listening into Russian political and military traffic, going all the way through till last year. I mean, if we remember, the Americans were telling us in advance what the Russians were up to even prior to the invasion. Yeah. So they've obviously got some very good listening posts somewhere inside Russia.
Yeah, and incredibly localised. I mean, it's one thing to maybe eavesdrop electronically on discussions about strategy, but to actually identify with a reasonable degree of accuracy where a given individual might be on a battlefield space, that's something else.
Well, yes and no. I mean, the Russian army is configured in a different way to Western armies. I mean, the Americans lost only one general in 20 years in Afghanistan. The Russians have lost 12 in just over 2 months of fighting in Ukraine. And the Russian army is heavily dominated. You know, it has a lot more generals than a typical Western army. Let's remember that. Russian army doesn't have as many of the sort of middle-ranking officers as we would have in a Western army. And because the war hasn't been going very well for Vladimir Putin, he's been pressurizing the top brass, the generals, to get out of their comfort zone, as it were, and go up to the front line. And that inevitably makes them easy targets. And that's what it seems has happened. I mean, they've gone up to the front line, as it were, and therefore have been killed.
Yeah, you wonder if it's almost a bit like World War I, when actually the rates of attrition amongst the officer class in the trenches was higher, wasn't it, than the ranks, because they had to set an example and lead them over the top. Taras Kuzio, thanks so much for joining us today.